Top 7 Worst Movie Sequels according to Consumer Reports. When it comes to watching movies, we all hope for sequels that build on the magic of the original. But what if I told you that some sequels are so terrible they tarnish the legacy of their predecessors? Films that should have never seen the light of day and left audiences feeling cheated. In this list, we'll explore the top 7 worst movie sequels that will leave you shaking your head in disbelief. And trust me, some of these might surprise you. From laughable plots to cringeworthy performances, these films are a testament to how not to continue a story. Here's the kicker. The last sequel on this list is so poorly executed that it has become a cautionary tale for filmmakers everywhere. Stick with me to the end because this isn't just a list. It's a guide to what to avoid when seeking out movie entertainment. Miss this, and you could end up wasting your time and money on cinematic disasters that will haunt your viewing experience for years. Let's dive in and uncover these unfortunate follow-ups that should have remained unwritten. How we evaluated the worst movie sequels. For this evaluation, we examined numerous film critiques and audience reviews to gather insights on what makes a sequel truly dreadful. Film critics with extensive knowledge of cinema shared their honest opinions on sequels that failed to capture the essence of their originals. Additionally, we consulted movie enthusiasts who generously shared their experiences and reactions to these films. Together, we compiled our findings to present you with the worst movie sequels available today. Now, here are the top 7 worst movie sequels. Number 1. Son of the Mask, 2005. Son of the Mask is often regarded as one of the most unnecessary sequels in film history. Following the beloved original The Mask, which starred Jim Carrey, this sequel completely misses the mark by failing to capture its predecessor's charm and humor. Instead of Carrey's energetic performance, audiences are introduced to Tim Avery, played by Jamie Kennedy, who inherits the mystical mask that grants him absurd powers. The film's attempt at humor falls flat with juvenile gags and over-the-top special effects that do not resonate with viewers. Critics panned it for its poor writing and lack of originality, leading to a dismal reception at the box office. The film's plot revolves around Tim struggling to balance his new powers with fatherhood, but it quickly devolves into a chaotic mess that lacks coherence. Moreover, the absence of Carrey's magnetic presence leaves a void that is impossible to fill. The film's reliance on CGI and slapstick comedy fails to evoke any genuine laughter, resulting in an experience that feels more like a chore than entertainment. Son of the Mask currently holds an abysmal rating on Rotten Tomatoes, solidifying its status as one of the worst sequels in cinematic history. The original's legacy was tarnished by this misguided attempt at continuing a story that should have been left alone. Number 2. Jaws, The Revenge, 1987. Jaws, The Revenge is infamous for being one of the most ridiculous sequels ever made. This fourth installment in the Jaws franchise takes an absurd turn with its plot. A shark seemingly seeks revenge on the Brody family after killing Chief Brody's son. This premise is not only far-fetched but also poorly executed, leading to laughable moments rather than suspenseful thrills. Critics and audiences alike criticized the film's lack of coherent storytelling and subpar special effects compared to its groundbreaking predecessor. The performances were deemed uninspired, particularly by Lorraine Gary as Ellen Brody, who returns in a role that feels forced and unnecessary. The film attempts to create tension but ultimately fails due to its absurd premise and lackluster execution. Moreover, the shark itself is portrayed in such an exaggerated manner that it becomes more comical than terrifying. The film's dialogue is often cringeworthy, detracting from any potential scares. Jaws, The Revenge ultimately failed to deliver on the tension and excitement that made the original a classic, leaving viewers disappointed and bewildered. It serves as a glaring example of how not to follow up on a successful franchise, tarnishing its legacy in the process. Number 3. Speed 2, Cruise Control, 1997. Speed 2, Cruise Control is often regarded as one of Hollywood's biggest missteps in sequel making. Following the success of Speed, which starred Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, filmmakers decided to take things in an entirely different direction by placing Bullock's character on a cruise ship instead of a bus. This change stripped away the thrilling premise that made the first film so engaging. The sequel introduces a new antagonist played by Willem Dafoe, but fails to create any real tension or stakes. Critics panned it for its uninspired script and lackluster action sequences, leading to poor box office performance. The film's pacing drags significantly compared to its predecessor, leaving audiences bored rather than thrilled. Additionally, without Keanu Reeves' charismatic presence, Bullock's character feels lost in a sea of mediocrity. The chemistry between characters lacks depth, making it difficult for viewers to invest emotionally in their plight. Speed 2 serves as a prime example of how not to follow up on a successful film. It ultimately damaged the franchise's reputation and left fans longing for what made the original so memorable. Number 4. Caddyshack 2, 1988. Caddyshack 2 is another sequel that failed to recapture the magic of its original counterpart. While Caddyshack became a cult classic known for its witty humor and memorable characters, this sequel fell flat with a lack of originality and charm. The absence of key cast members like Bill Murray left fans longing for what made the first film special. The sequel attempts to replicate its predecessor's comedic style, but ends up feeling forced and uninspired. New characters are introduced, but they lack the charisma and depth necessary to engage viewers fully. Critics noted that it relied heavily on tired jokes and cliched scenarios rather than offering fresh content. Moreover, many scenes feel disjointed and fail to deliver any genuine laughs, which ultimately undermines its comedic intent. The film's attempts at humor often come off as desperate rather than clever or funny. As a result, Caddyshack 2 tarnished the legacy of its beloved original, proving that not every comedy needs a follow-up. Sometimes it's best to let classic films stand alone without risking their reputation with subpar sequels. Number 5. Highlander 2, The Quickening, 1991. Highlander 2, The Quickening is notorious for being one of cinema's most baffling sequels. Following the cult classic Highlander, which introduced audiences to immortal warriors battling through time, this sequel took an unexpected turn by introducing alien elements into its narrative. An idea that completely alienated fans who loved the original's unique premise. Critics lambasted it for convoluted storytelling and poor character development, rendering it nearly unwatchable for many viewers. Instead of expanding upon the rich lore established in Highlander, this sequel opts for confusing plot twists that leave audiences scratching their heads rather than intrigued. The film's attempt at world-building fails spectacularly. Instead of deepening our understanding of immortals, it introduces unnecessary complications that detract from what made the first film compelling. Additionally, many fans were disappointed by how beloved characters were portrayed or sidelined entirely. As such, Highlander 2 stands as a cautionary tale about how not to approach sequels in established franchises, especially when trying to reinvent core concepts without understanding what made them successful in the first place. It serves as a reminder that sometimes it's better to leave well enough alone rather than risk ruining a beloved story with misguided attempts at expansion. Number 6. Dumb and Dumberer, When Harry Met Lloyd, 2003. Dumb and Dumberer, When Harry Met Lloyd serves as a prequel rather than a direct sequel, but is still widely regarded as one of cinema's worst follow-ups. With Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels absent from their iconic roles, new actors stepped in but failed miserably to capture their comedic chemistry or charm. The film relies heavily on slapstick humor, but lacks substance or wit found in its predecessor, resulting in an experience devoid of genuine laughter or memorable moments. Critics highlighted its poor writing and unoriginal jokes as major flaws, leading to disappointing reviews from both audiences and critics alike. Additionally, much of the humor feels forced or overly reliant on crude gags rather than clever comedy. This approach alienates fans who appreciated the original's more nuanced jokes. Characters are caricatures rather than fully fleshed out individuals with relatable traits or motivations. Ultimately, Dumb and Dumberer serves as proof that some films should remain standalone classics without any attempts at continuation, especially when those attempts fail spectacularly at capturing what made them beloved in the first place. This movie stands as an unfortunate reminder that not all comedic legacies deserve further exploration. Sometimes it's best just to let them be. Number 7. Independence Day, Resurgence, 2016. Independence Day, Resurgence arrived 2 decades after its iconic predecessor, but failed spectacularly to deliver on nostalgia or excitement. While fans eagerly anticipated a return to Earth's battle against alien invaders, they were met with uninspired characters and an underwhelming plot filled with cliches that felt recycled from countless other sci-fi films. Critics pointed out how it lacked both emotional depth and compelling storytelling compared to its original blockbuster status, leaving many viewers feeling disconnected from characters they once loved. The absence of Will Smith further diminished audience engagement. Without his charismatic presence, many scenes fell flat. Moreover, while special effects have improved dramatically since 1996, they cannot compensate for weak writing or shallow character arcs, resulting in action sequences that feel hollow rather than thrilling. Attempts at humor often miss their mark entirely. What was once clever banter now comes off as forced or stale. Ultimately, Independence Day. Resurgence serves as a reminder that sometimes it's best to let iconic films stand alone rather than risk tarnishing their legacy with subpar sequels lacking originality or heart. Fans left theaters feeling disappointed rather than exhilarated, a fate no beloved franchise deserves after years spent building anticipation for its return. These are some of the worst movie sequels ever made, each leaving behind disappointment rather than joy for fans who cherish their originals. While these films may seem like good ideas on paper, they come with hidden costs, namely wasted time and frustration for viewers seeking quality entertainment. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights into films worth watching.